You ever hear someone say that they don't want to baby their partner? Maybe they said they don't want to mother or father their partner, that they want someone who already has their stuff together. I'm sure you have, or you may have even said it yourself. Well, we are talking about it all on today's podcast. From perfection to potential to project, I have you covered. I'm your host, Angie Rolle, the teen wife who turned my relationship struggles into strengths, marital woes into wins, and made the mistakes so you don't have to. I've conquered the mission on how to build a successful relationship. So stick around with me and let's talk love. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to episode 40. I believe this is episode 47, Potential versus Project. Today we have a lot to unpack, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Before I go there though, I just want to throw out a disclaimer that I feel like, of course, there's a ton of different double standards when it comes to men and women and the things that we do. Like, it's okay for men to be hoes, but it's not okay for a woman to be a hoe, whatever the case may be. And it's the same thing with this, except it's the flip side. So women, we're allowed to be kind of moochers or gold diggers. And I hate to use that word, but we're allowed to mooch off of men. We're allowed to expect from a man that if we're down and out, and even if we're not down and out, to take us out to dinner and fully pay for the meal. We're expecting him, some of us, let me throw that out there, to pay our bills. Some of us are expecting for him to be able to pay and get our nails done. Whereas when this man is down, if this man is struggling, if he's put in the same position as us, then all of a sudden he's not attractive, or we don't want him, or he's not ready for a relationship. And I really truly feel like that's a double standard that we need to correct in our relationships, because it's an unrealistic expectation. Everybody gets down, everybody struggles. So, and I think, to defend women, and of course I'm not necessarily on the woman's side when it comes to people that have this mindset, but to defend women, I really truly feels like a part of this comes from anticipating the man as a leader. Most women look and view men as leaders. That's why it's hard, if you're out here all willy-nilly doing all types of stuff, it's hard to get your woman to submit. It's hard to get your woman to submit to you when you're not leading your pack how you're supposed to, when you're not honoring your relationship, when you're not honoring your marriage. It's hard for a woman to submit. It's hard to a woman to submit when she doesn't feel like you have all the necessary leadership qualities to lead her and elevate her to a better place. And so I think that's partly where it comes from. We have this expectation, and I talked about this earlier this week about just how I'm able to show a little bit of compassion, not all the time because I'm not perfect, to my husband, is just understanding leadership. I've taken 4 different certifications in leadership, 2 of them coming from national organizations. And let me tell you, leadership, everybody that's in a leadership position does not need to be there. It takes certain characteristic traits. It takes certain qualities to be a successful leader. And that's the same thing in your marriage. It takes, for a man to be a successful leader, he has to have certain qualities. And that's why everybody is not fit to be a husband. That's why everybody is not fit to be a husband. And I've explained this, and I'll talk about this later, just about how just because you're a good person does not make you or mean that you're going to be a good partner. They're 2 different things, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But like I was saying, I feel like this is a very, very large topic for us to discuss. And I feel like with certain women, we have these expectations, right? And we're not even half of what we are expecting. Like, if you're not in your bag, why do you expect a man to be in his bag? And this goes for all of us. This next thing that I'm about to say, if you're not perfect, why do we expect this man to be perfect? None of us are hitting and firing on all cylinders at all time. And so I think that's something for us to check ourselves at the door for. But I want to say this, relationships aren't perfect. Nobody is going to be perfect in your relationship. And I don't know how many ways I can spell it, say it, make it make sense. It is just this generation, my generation, the millennial generation, and everything after that, every generation after that, we desire things to come so quick and natural to us that we don't want to take the time to understand that nothing is going to happen overnight. Nothing comes easy. Nobody is going to be perfect. And because two people make up a relationship, because nobody is going to be perfect, that means your relationship is not going to be perfect. That means that your partner is going to have certain flaws. That means that that partner is not always going to have everything together. He may be solid in one area, but he's struggling in another area. The thing is, we have to decide what's important without overextending our expectations or beating our partner up, beating our man up because he's lacking or he's not fulfilling all of his what you think he should fulfill in all areas of life. Now, I do feel like a lot of this people wanting somebody or women wanting somebody already put together is a trauma response. Generally, people that come from nothing, and I hate to say nothing, but people that have struggled in their past, in their childhood, they want somebody that is successful. They want somebody that has a little bit of money. They want somebody that has something going for themselves. And I think that's generally where women are coming from when they're like, oh, I don't want somebody that has potential or that's going to be a project. I want somebody that's already dang near perfect. Not knowing that he's going to have other flaws that are not going to meet your expectation. And that's absolutely why I hate the term high value men and high value women and striving for high value men and high value women, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, I could have the wrong definition of what I think high value is, but I guess it's somebody that like has money, somebody that's doing well for themselves and high status, I guess the case may be. And here's the thing with that. These people, celebrities, influencers, all these people may have money. You may think that's attractive because nobody wants to be broke, right? But you better believe that this person is going to have something wrong with them. And this is why I hate the term high value, because none of us are high value. There's something wrong with each and every one of us out here. None of us, and I think it's so arrogant and prideful to call yourself high value based off of status and based off of money. Celebrity status, okay, whatever, you may be famous, but none of us, you still have something wrong with you too. None of us, in my personal opinion, are that high up to call ourselves a high value man or a high value woman. There's going to be something wrong with you to make you low value. All these celebrities that have money, all these rappers, all these actors, and guess what? They got 5, 6 baby mamas. They cheating on their girlfriend right now. They messing with another dude right now. None of us are high value. And I know, like I said, the definition could be, oh, just a celebrity. Just use celebrity. I hate the term high value because it just absolutely means nothing to me. To me, it's an egotistical term. But I say all that to say that sometimes we can be very triggered by our past. It really truly does play a role in and impacts our relationships today, because if we have lacked, we're striving for something more in life. And it's like, all right, if I am down in life, I can do bad all by myself. I don't want another partner that's going to bring me down. I don't want another partner that's going to, I'm going to have to work with or have a project or it's going to be a project for me. And here's the thing with this. Relationships essentially are challenging. Anybody that has been in a long-term relationship, they're not going to tell you, they're being honest, they're not going to tell you that it was easy. They're not going to tell you that they didn't face a challenge or two or feel like it was a project at some point, or that even I, in my relationship as a woman, I felt like, all right, I have potential, but I'm not totally fulfilling, you know, my full potential of what it is that I think I can do. But my husband didn't leave me, and vice versa. He's been in the position where he's been down and out, but he didn't leave me. It's about growing and working together. It's about teamwork. And the best relationships out there are people that have worked together to build something. I often tell people that I don't want a partner that has everything put together, because it's like, what are we working towards? What are we working on? And I'm going to get to breaking down the definition of potential versus project, red flags, green flags, all that good stuff in a minute. But I want to encourage people to understand that you have to work towards something as a couple to know that you can withstand something. If you're not faced with a trial or two and you don't get through that trial or two, you're never going to know what your relationship is really standing on, if it's really solid. And so that's why I always encourage people to embrace the negativity, embrace the challenges, embrace the frustrations, embrace all of that, because that is going to lead you to a place of understanding. That is going to lead you to a place of growth and elevation. And that's what you want in your relationship. That's what comes with the territory. I think when we look at, you know, somebody that's put together, essentially what we're looking for is somebody who is perfect. We're looking for somebody that checks all the boxes, and nobody in the world is going to check all of your boxes. Like I said earlier, they're going to have something wrong with them in one area. And the thing is, you have to pick, and this is up to you, you have to pick what area is most important to you. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, sometimes when it comes to money, it's a trauma response. It's not even that the person really values money. It's just they may have grown up poor, and it's just they don't want to go back to that place again. But you, right or wrong, indifferent, whatever the case may be, you have to decide what's most important to you. You have to get you 3 non-negotiables and decide what you're willing to work with. And I think this generation, my generation, the generations after, even the generation above us, you know, sometimes we don't want to teach. We don't want to be taught, right? Because we think we know everything. We think we have all the answers. We think we have it all figured out. I know women that walk around like, I got this bomb career, I got this bomb degree, I'm all that, but yet you have this expectation. You're not in a relationship because you have this expectation of somebody that does not exist. Perfection. You're not willing to work with a man. You're not willing to teach him. You're not willing to be taught in return. And that's why people end up single for long periods of time. We have to get the idea of teaching our partner is making them a project. I want to be taught in my relationship. Let's grow together. Teach me something new. Intellectually stimulate me. Okay? Teach me something. If I'm doing something wrong, show me a more excellent way. And I think if we get that out of our head as, you know, that ego and that pride that we all have, all of us have ego, right? It's just some of us use our ego in a healthy way and some of us use our ego in an unhealthy way. All of us have it. It's there. It's just a matter of how we go about using that ego that is going to determine, all right, how our relationships flow. Once we get the ego out and get past that, then we can work with our significant other and understanding that teaching and being taught does not diminish any of your accomplishments. It does not make you less than. You want to get more knowledgeable, right? If you want to go back to school, let's say you have a master's, an MBA, you want to go back for a PhD or whatever the case may be. You're getting more knowledge. You're willing to be taught because you want to expand knowledge. And that's the same thing that I want to get across when it comes to relationships. We have to be willing. It's okay for us to teach. It's okay for us to be taught. So, with that being said, what does someone with potential look like versus someone who is a project? We're going to get into that, and I'm going to tell you the difference between someone who will be a project and someone who will be potential. And it's just one simple word that I'm going to get to, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts, and we're going to wrap up and get out of here. Okay, guys? So stick around with me just a little bit longer. I promise look, like the preacher says, I promise I won't hold you long, okay? I'm going to land the plane soon. But anyway, someone who is potential, who has potential, is someone that is striving for something. Someone that is working towards something. He could be working at McDonald's right now, but yet he is going to school. Everybody working at McDonald's, everybody working at Burger King is not a bum. There's somebody that's trying to get somewhere. They could be somebody that's trying to get somewhere. So if you see a man and he's striving to do better, he's working on building his credit, he's working on finding a decent job, he's actively working towards something, he's just not there yet, that's somebody with potential. You'll know a bum because a bum don't want to work. A bum does not have consistency. A bum doesn't care about you know, elevating. A bum is happy with where he's at. That's the difference between a bum and somebody who has potential. Somebody that is inspired by you and can tell you that they're inspired and acts off of the inspiration that you give them. You know, sometimes you're not gonna, I tell this all the time in my coaching sessions, sometimes you're not going to be the person that, sometimes your partner is not gonna be the person that you think they should be all the time. You're gonna have to be the one to inspire that day. That's why people say relationships are not 50-50, it's 80-20. One day you only gonna have 20% to give, and that other person is gonna have to be that 80%. And it's gonna swap back and forth. The man could be that 20% that day, and you're gonna have to be the 80, whatever the case may be. But somebody who has potential is just that word. They have potential, they're striving for something, they're just not there yet. And I remember my husband, before he got a CDL, he was always working. Even when he lost his job, when we moved here and he didn't get, he always found some kind of something to get us by. He wasn't where he wanted to be. He wasn't where he wanted to have his family. And I really wish he was on this episode to talk about it, but he's not. So I'm gonna talk about it for him. He wasn't where he wanted to be in life, but he was still striving for something. So should I have left him because he wasn't where he wanted to be in life? The grass is not always greener on the other side. And you're gonna have trials and tribulations, whether you're with a high value man, and I'm quoting that for people that can't see me, a high value man or woman, you're gonna have problems regardless. You're gonna have trials and tribulations regardless. Those were promised to us. So would you rather do it with somebody who loves you, who you love, or would you rather do it with somebody that just has some money because you're traumatized by your past? Do it with somebody that you really love, somebody that you're really dedicated and committed to. That's what I want to emphasize on this. Now, someone who is a project, this person is a person that lacks no consistency. This person has no initiative. This person is one that is just trying to get by in life. All right, I'm here until I die, that's it. And you'll know this person because, and this is the difference between someone who will be a project and someone who will be a potential, is the amount of effort and dedication they have to the relationship. How much someone gives to something will tell you a lot about a person. I could say that I want to do something, but if I'm not putting no effort in it, and if I'm not dedicated and committed to it, me talking means nothing. That person is going to end up being a project because you're going to constantly have to push them to do something. You're going to constantly have to get them going in the right direction. This person is looks like an unmotivated person. This person looks like somebody who is, they just don't truly acknowledge or seem like they care about situations. It's just, life is what it is. And I know a lot of men have this very nonchalant and matter-of-fact attitude, but this is different. Most men that have a nonchalant, matter-of-fact attitude, they're more, okay, if something goes wrong, I'm not going to get worked up. We're going to work through this, see what happens, go about our day. Whereas somebody who is going to be a project in your relationship down the future, the red flags of them is they just don't really care. They're just, okay, whatever. They're loosey-goosey. And these are things to think about when it comes to somebody who has potential and versus somebody who is going to be a project. If you constantly feel like you have to give them the effort that you're looking for in the relationship, then that's when you're going to feel like it's a project. Somebody that has potential, somebody that's looking to do better, the effort is always going to be there. And that's the simple word that I want you to realize: effort. Great marriages, good marriages, happy marriages, they don't, it's not because of what happens in the beginning of the relationship. Who cares? Anybody can get married and be cute in the beginning of the relationship. The beginning is always the good part, right? That's when you're in your best behavior. Everything's hunky-dory. This person is the best thing since sliced bread. It's that middle part. It's that endurance part where you're going to have to put in that effort every day of, okay, I gotta communicate today. I'm not really feeling it. I'm suffering inside. That's what's going to get you through. And it's the same thing when you're dealing with a man or a woman, project, potential. What kind of effort are they putting in to better themselves? That's going to tell you if you should stay. Now, I'm not saying be with a bum, of course, but somebody who has potential and is just in a bad spot is not a bum. Know that, make sure you are asking yourself if you can honestly answer that this person is putting in effort to better themselves, to better the relationship, work on things. Then you can make an educated decision, all right, if you want to stay in this relationship or if you're ready to move on from the relationship. That's the number one key. How much effort on 1 through 10, scale of 1 through 10, how much effort is this person putting in? How consistent are they, right? Okay, because you can have effort and it can go away. I can have effort today, right? But then tomorrow, I ain't got none. Effort, consistency. How much effort do they have? How consistent are they being? Okay, those are the two things that you want to look at when it comes to somebody who has potential versus somebody who is a project or who will be a project for you. So that's what I want to say. I'm one of those people that encourage people, unless you're dealing with habitual infidelity or physical abuse, I'm one of those people that if true love is involved, true dedication and commitment is involved, I believe that a lot of things most things can be worked through. It's just a matter of simple conversation, honest conversation, because a lot of us, when we get in relationships and we're in long-term relationships, we become not honest, and not on purpose, but just more so we become, all right, I'm just gonna let this slide. It's not important to me, I'm just gonna let it slide, whatever the case may be. And that's dishonesty. That's hiding your feelings, and that's gonna end up building resentment in the future. So express yourself. This is your life. If you're not happy with something, tell your partner that you're not happy with something. And also, I shared this with somebody as well. I talked about how there's a difference between a good person and a good partner. And everybody, and that just goes back to the example that I used earlier, everybody in a leadership role is not a good leader. It's not a leader. Some people fall into positions, right? So just because you have this good heart, just because you would give somebody the shirt off your back, doesn't mean that you're going to be able to communicate in your relationship. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to have open honesty in your relationship. It does not mean that you are going to be able to separate entity. Now, of course, a bad person ain't gonna make for a good partner either, but a good person does not make for a good, does not mean that that person is going to be a good partner. Just means they're a good person. They're a good individual. Everybody is not meant to be in a relationship. Everybody is not equipped to handle a relationship. I believe you can get the tools to get yourself equipped, possibly. That's what you really want. But if that's not what you really want and you're not really willing to put in the effort and be consistent in it, then it's not going to work. So those are my thoughts on that. I just wanted to share that with you, as far as just make sure you look at those two things, effort and consistency. The effort is there. If the person is consistent in their behaviors and their actions and not just their words, okay, then this person has potential. They're gonna get somewhere eventually. Consistency, doing something over, practicing, motivation, it's gonna get you somewhere after a while. But being that project, being complacent with where you are, or just saying I'm unhappy with where I'm at and not doing anything actively about it, then that's what's going to cause you anguish in the future. So keep that in mind. And also keep in mind too, ladies, that if you're one of those people, like I said earlier, that you know, thinks it's okay for you to get something out of a man financially, but he can't get nothing out of you financially, then you might want to check yourself, because it's a double standard that needs to be worked on. So that's all I have for you guys today. I'll see you guys all. I think I am going to take the rest of the month off. I am going to be going on vacation soon at the end of April. So I'm really going to just, you probably may only see one other podcast this month, but I am here and available for anybody that wants to talk one-on-one. Feel free to hit us up at www.loveinspirit.com. I'll be more than happy to assist you with your relationship. I love you guys all. Have a blessed day.